Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the new Marvel Legends Marvel's Rage, which is part of the Abomination Build-A-Figure wave. And this figure has a lot of stuff going for it. There's some really nice things about this guy. There's one thing, you can probably guess what I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to say it yet. You go ahead and guess. Let me know if you get it right. There's one thing that kind of kills this figure in some ways. Maybe kills is too strong, but there's one thing that could be changed, which would make it fantastic. And I'm going to Photoshop the crap out of it for you. But yeah, this guy does some things pretty well. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 7 inches, which makes him pretty close to... he's just shy of 18 centimeters. And as you can tell, it's a lot of parts we've already seen. Some of the parts we don't like very much. The good news is, the new things that are on here make this figure look a lot better. So I'm going to point that out first. The jacket's done really nicely. We have the studded belt and the wrist things. That all looks pretty darn good. Yeah, we could use a little bit more paint around his jacket for zippers and buttons and things, and that would make him stand out a lot. It still looks pretty good. It hides some of the issues that this body has had in the past, still has now, will always have. Another thing that makes this guy stand out as looking really nice is the varying finishes. Mostly he's just molded plastic, and that's kind of a matte to satin finish. But then we do have the metallics scattered throughout, and we have the glossy boots. Those kind of little details, like the glossy boots up against the satin pants, they make a figure pop, and they don't take much to do, and it's just a really, really nice addition. And things like that across more of their figures would go a long way into making these things a lot more desirable to a lot more people. Another thing that's good about this guy is the paints are relatively clean. Yeah, the little silver dots for the studs aren't always perfect, but that's to be expected. But otherwise, it's pretty good. The yellow on here isn't anywhere near as bad as it could be. The paint job up on the head is very solid, very nice. That's awesome. The fingers are painted well enough in the gloves. Like, it's definitely a decent looking figure in a lot of ways. The hair on the chest, I could definitely take it or leave it. It's not even in the drawing. Like, it looks better without it, honestly, and it's just painted hair like that never looks good as far as I'm concerned. You guys can let me know how you feel about it. I would just rather not have it. It just looks like Lego people to me, because it's so cartoonish, and like everything else has a general realistic vibe to it, but the swirly hair painted on, especially since it's only where the vest isn't, it just looks weird to me. I would rather not have it, but whatever. You guys can let me know how you feel about that. But yeah, aesthetically, it looks really good, other than the fact that his head is too damn big again. I'm tired of saying that. It's not as obvious with this guy because of the jacket. The jacket fills out his torso a lot and makes the head look less big. Look at the ratio of head to body on there. And that's even with the forced perspective of the head. Let me do it on here. That doesn't help. That's with the forced perspective of the upper body being closer to the camera. So his hands look huge compared to his torso because of the foreshortening the forced perspective. The head is still tiny because when you make a person big and bulky, their head needs to be smaller in order for them to look big and bulky rather than just inflated. And that is such a better look than Melon Head over here. I'll Photoshop it. You'll see. The smaller the head on the bigger the guy, the better it looks. I mean, obviously within reason. You can't just shrink it all the way down to nothing. But I'll show you, just like Crossbones, although this guy's neck issue isn't as much of a deal, a smaller head on a big guy makes the big guy look like a big guy rather than just like a Stay Puft guy. Anyway, aesthetically speaking, other than the head, I can even live with the rest. The rest is all fine. I'm still going to give it an 8. It's a really, really nice looking figure, especially if you just go like that. Or like that. But you put them together and it's just off. Okay, as far as accessories go, is 0. None. None of them. Got none of them. That's a bummer. Yes, you can take the jacket off if you want to. I guess you could do that. But it's going to make the head look even bigger, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Okay, as far as articulation goes, we've seen this all before. We'll do it anyway, because that's why we're here. The head works well enough. It doesn't seem to have as much of that snapping issue that this body has had in the past, so that's okay. It moves around just fine. The ball peg has tons of wiggle, but it's seated nicely, so that's good. I like that. A little bit of attitude goes a long way in posing. That's why I'm such a fan of double ball pegs, but this one works, so that's fine. Shoulders, obviously full rotation. These should be no problem. Let's see. Yeah, they go all the way up-ish. You know, bicep swivel, all of this is stuff we've seen. It's all fine. Wrist swivel and hinge. 2 fist hands, I'm definitely a fan of that. I'm tired of getting gripping hands on people that can't grip anything. And yes, you can provide your own accessories. I don't think you should have to. If you're buying an action figure, it should be ready to go out of the package. And if that means 2 fist hands instead of a gripping hand, I'm for that, because I don't want to have to buy an additional accessory for a figure. They shouldn't assume we already have those. They should provide them, or give us 2 fist hands, or 2 pose hands rather than a gripping hand. That's my take. You guys can let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Alright, ab crunch is still what it always has been. It leans forward nicely, doesn't go back all that far. Waist twist is fine. Floating belt is maybe stuck underneath somehow, but I think it's just floating. The hips have always been decent on his figure, and they still are. Yeah, no problems. Don't go really too far back though. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee. He's a little gummy feeling. We only get a little bit better than 90 degrees out of that. Could be better if this was cut out a little bit more. Not too bad though. I mean, that's fine. Boot swivel is fine. Ankles go all the way back, all the way forward, and we have a pretty offset ankle rocker. But with the boot swivel, it's not great, but it'll do. His lower legs are probably still too big, like I mentioned in the past. But on this guy, doesn't stand out because of this. Anyway, articulation, I'll go 7 or 8. It's fine. It's not I'm gonna go 7. There's nothing special about it, but it is sufficient. So yeah, final verdict on this guy. I like it overall, objectively and subjectively. I think it's pretty darn neato. But that head definitely could use to be smaller. That jacket is a lifesaver. It is so hiding the size of his head. And it's not like it's grotesquely huge, but it would just look so much better. Let's do this again. It would look so much better closer to that, because it gives you an entirely different feel for the character. This looks like a guy that's really hulky, strong, and big, and I don't mean Hulk like the Hulk, I mean Hulk as in big. This looks like a normal sized guy with a helmeted head, almost, and it's not supposed to be that. So you get what I'm saying, probably. All right, final verdict. I'm gonna go 8. I like it. I think they did enough paint on here that it looks really spiffy. The varied finishes look really nice. This guy could easily be a 9 with a few tweaks, and hopefully you saw the Photoshop, and then you know what it would have looked like. But yeah, it's a very strong release. Go ahead and pick it up. I don't know how many people care about this character. I'm not exceptionally familiar with him. I knew of his existence, and that's about it, but I'm still happy to have it. So if you like this character, then you're probably going to be even more happy to have it. So there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, do it. Because I have thousands of videos already on the channel for all the days I don't upload. But when I do upload, it's almost every single day. So come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.